Hello, Carl Tinsley here. If you're a middle manager, then you're in a challenging role. And the reason you're in a challenging role is this. Your senior managers expect to be able to be demanding of you, to set unrealistic and extremely challenging targets for you, and to behave towards you, quite frankly, at times in ways that is just unacceptable. But the challenge for you is that when you deal with the people reporting for you, you can't behave in the same way. If you do, you'll lose rapport with those supervisors or team leaders below you. And if you lose rapport, then you're not going to get the work done. And then what happens? You just get your senior managers coming down harder on you again. So the challenge for the middle managers is to influence upwards and lead downwards. And that is easier said than done. So at Breaking Ground, we put together a program specifically for middle managers which focuses on the advanced persuasion, influence, and leadership skills that you need. We're not looking at the functions of management relating to controlling, organizing, planning. We're just looking at the leadership component, which includes leading upwards and downwards. As with any development program, particularly related to your leadership style and your influence, we begin by looking at your DISC Advanced profile. This tells us your natural communication style, plus the style that you use at work, and we call that the adjusted style, and in this diagram it's referred to as the work you. The larger that arrow, the more adjustments you make, the more unnaturally you're behaving at work, and therefore sometimes the more challenging that adjustment can be for you. The DISC Advanced gives us the information needed to help you learn the techniques to make that adjustment smoother and more effectively. And if you can do that, then whether information is coming from above or below, you can deal with it a lot more effectively, calmly, and assertively. And that's what we're after with this program. Once we cover the DISC Advanced, we'll look at advanced persuasion and influence techniques for middle managers. We'll look at language patterns. What are the words you need to say and how do you need to say them? In what tense, in what tone, in what person that have the most impact with the people you're dealing with. We'll look at your voice and your non-verbal communications. How can you unconsciously affect the people you're working with in a way that alters their perception of you in a positive light? We'll look at dealing with resistance, particularly increasing desire to achieve something, and this is very relevant with the people working for you, and overcoming resistance, very relevant for the people you are working for. So we'll look at both of those different sets of strategies. There are over 100 leadership models out in the world today. We will look at models that are very relevant to you as a middle manager, and we'll put them into context based on your DISC profile. We'll begin with a very basic, simple, but most effective model for developing your team, which is situational leadership. And we'll apply to that a couple of extra characteristics. We'll look at charismatic leadership, the 4 key styles of charismatic leadership, and how they apply to situational leadership. And we'll apply the approachable, credible model so that what that gives you in the end is a nice, clean style and a tool to determine which style to use for which situation. And it's that tool that makes things so much easier. This allows you to be firm on the standard you expect from your people whilst still maintaining or even building the rapport you have with them. And finally, we'll look at strategies for middle managers, how to deal with resistant bosses and stubborn supervisors, how you can get noticed in the right way by doing the right things properly, how you deal with aggression both from above and below, which are 2 very different techniques. And we'll also start working on establishing mindsets for managing. Now, you know that in certain situations you need to behave and engage your other people in certain ways. You also need mindsets that go along and control how you behave in those situations. We will start working on setting mindsets for you based on your DISC Advanced style to help you do that most effectively and allow you to be flexible depending on the people you're dealing with. So that's a 2-day program, the Advanced Persuasion, Influence and Leadership Skills course, influencing upwards and leading downwards. And just like it says in this quote here, a desk is a dangerous place from which to view the world. And it's the same way with training. A desk or a table is a very dangerous place in which to learn because you'll only learn knowledge. We focus on action learning. It's the experience you have to tie your knowledge to, which gives you true learning. And in fact, that's what people mean by the term accelerated learning. And that's what we do here, giving you the experience to accelerate your learning by allowing you to truly absorb the knowledge and put it into context based on your style. So it's a 2-day program, Advanced Persuasion, Influence and Leadership Skills for Middle Managers.